Apart from the glasses, we've got quite a lot in common.
Have we?
Yeah. I know you.
Tell me.
Well, you probably won't know me at all, but I went to I've just recorded this, shall I? I trained at Laban.
Ah, which year?
I started in 1989.
Ah.
So I think
I'd gone by then.
You got it at 7 or something, 6 was it?
Yeah, I finished in 87. Yeah, that's when I started the company, so it's 30 years ago.
In 2017, Matthew's dance company, New Adventures, celebrates its 30th anniversary with Matthew returning to his roots with a programme of hit pieces that launched his career and saw the birth of the style, the wit and the sheer entertainment that have become hallmarks of the New Adventures company today. I met up with Matthew in Blackpool to get an insight into how he feels 30 years on, no doubt a lot older.
Well, the interesting thing that you'd understand probably is that I was in all those pieces. I was in the pieces. And I made up all the movement on my own body in front of a mirror and taught it to people, which is how I used to choreograph at the beginning. That's my memory of it is so different. It's a physical memory of being in the pieces, and I understand the movement very, very well and know exactly what it should be, and I know what it feels like as well. So it's a lovely feeling for me. It's sort of it is nostalgic, but also it's very pure, it feels to me. It's very purely coming from me, and I feel quite proud of it now when I look at it. People have been saying, it's very different, it's very unusual, isn't it? They're not saying, this feels like a piece that was made 25 years ago. So it's it still has because it's got a very individual approach, I suppose it still feels that way.
Have you been tempted to change any elements of it, or?
I think I've sharpened things up, but I've tried to keep it as it was because I want people to see where things have come from. I don't want to dress it up. I want people to see that that's it. This company started as a group of friends in the days of early adventures pieces. It was a group of friends from college, and it carried on that way. When it's a small company, it has to be that way. As it's got bigger, I've tried to keep that atmosphere of a family atmosphere, and that they will all talk about it in that way. They all talk about coming back to their family when they've gone and they come back again. When someone comes in, they're really embraced into the group, and they're a team,
So when it comes to improvisation and choreography, do all the dancers have an equal input?
I want the best idea in the room, and I don't care if it's coming from someone who's been there 10 years or someone who's been there 10 minutes. If they've got the good idea and they've got the courage to say it, that's often the thing now, because the age gap between me and them has got bigger over the years. So the young ones that come in now, they can be a bit nervous of me, and I have to break them down. I have to become their friend, and I have to make sure that they feel they can contribute.
Your parents, they were incredibly supportive, weren't they?
Yeah.
How important is that, do you think?
Really important, I think. I didn't realise how important it was till I heard about other people's parents.
Yes.
Because I expected everyone's parents to be like mine. And they were like, anything go. They would support me in whatever I wanted to do. They were non-judgmental, just quietly supportive. They liked all my friends. My friends loved them.
Yeah.
When they're both gone now, unfortunately, but the amount of young dancers who turned up to their funerals was incredible, because they'd all had words with them. They'd all got to know them. Yeah, they'd all gone over. My mum used to go over and speak to people they knew in the company. She was a bit like the company is. She would embrace them. They would always remember that. So they were brilliant.
Would you say your work defines you?
Very much. Very much so. It is me. It is me. What you see on stage is me. What it is a representation of things that I like and things that I love on stage, and that's very much early adventures.
At the relatively late age of 22 and with no formal training, Matthew successfully auditioned at the Laban Centre to study a degree in dance theatre and choreography.
I'd done a lot of dancing, but I was all self-taught. I'd never done a dance class. My first ever dance class was my audition for Laban, but I actually at the time thought I was quite good. You used to have that confidence that I've done a load of dancing, I can do that. I've done it since I was a kid. One of the reasons I did get into Laban was my sex, my man. I was a man.
Desperate for men, weren't they?
And I was interested, and I was, could put one foot in front of the other, and that was about probably good enough at the time. Now, the first time ever, like last year's auditions, we had more applications for men than women. And so that's a big difference, and things like, obviously guys are attracted to my company because of Swan Lake and things like that, and they know that there's good male roles there. But I think it has changed massively. Do you know what I was into in a big way, which helped my choreography a lot, was dance history. I love dance history, and I had quite a interesting relationship with Alistair Macaulay, who's now chief dance critic of the New York Times. And we used to discuss a lot of stuff. We used to go and see a lot of shows and talk about it. And that really helped me choreographically over there. I'd say he was the most influential person while I was there, actually. I learned so much from. The reason Reborn got started was I felt that our shows, after a while, we were touring, we were doing sort of workshops along with the shows, like a lot of companies do. When we went somewhere, we'd get into a school the day, on our spare day where we didn't have a matinee or something. It didn't feel like enough, it didn't feel like you could do enough. So we started Reborn because I felt there were young people in those audiences who were really inspired by what they saw on stage. And they were the sort of young people that wouldn't be inspired by a man in white tights or a ballerina. They were there was something about seeing those sort of dancers I have in my company. They felt they could connect with them. They felt like real people. And they wanted to be like that. And they could actually imagine themselves doing that. And I thought, we've got to embrace this a lot more. Yeah. And so we sort of formed this charity, and it's got bigger and bigger over the last few years, and we're doing all sorts of projects now, culminating in the Lord of the Flies project that we did with lots of young guys from all over the country, and that because that was about 3 years ago now when we did the big 13-city tour of it. Some of those guys went into training as a result of that, and they're about to graduate this year. And I've got my eye on about 5 or 6 of them. I really want this story of them going from nothing through that into the company.
With the recent trend for screening London productions in the north and a general feeling that London is a centre of all things creative, I was rather intrigued to discover if Matthew had sensed a north-south divide.
I don't feel it. I don't. I love coming up north, and the audiences are brilliant, and they're so sort of out for a good time and supportive and vocal. And this is the sort of audiences we like. We love the audiences that respond. And are not sort of sitting on their hands and not all po-faced about things. And want fantastic. The more as time's gone by, they're the sort of audiences I want. Really. People who join in. Strangely, there's very little crossover. Something we did do research into, because all the big ballet companies were moaning about us touring near to where they toured, like we're only there 2 weeks later, and that sort of thing. So we did some research, and with the crossover between the classical ballet audience and my company is under 10%. It's not what people think it is. They think it'd be the same audience. It's a different audience, a much more popular audience, much more an audience who would go to movies and theatre and musicals and other kinds of dance. I imagine if you feel a bit isolated and away from things, it can bug you after a while that you're not getting the best, and you want the best, But for many years now I've toured, so I've got to know the country really well, and I got to know a lot of the venues we go to very well, and I understand how things work a lot better, and I'm proudly a touring company, I make sure people know that, that we get out there and go to as many places. This is why I was dying to come here. I kept saying, why are we not coming to Blackpool? I've been saying it for years, because it bugged me that we hadn't come.
Everybody loves playing Blackpool.
So I'm not just giving you a line. I'm
I believe you.
Here.
And the theatre's fantastic.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's absolutely lends itself so well to your stuff.
Yeah, this show's going to look great there.
So when I used to choreograph, I used to be backstage swearing and cursing and the rest of it. Terrible. You sit in the audience, do you like get a false moustache on and stuff? And no, seriously. And what do you do when they're doing something wrong? Are you not like, what do you do? Do you just sit there? I know it's good to feed off the energy and the idea that you get from the audience.
Yeah.
Equally.
I do. I love being within the audience. I love feeling the audience, and always from beginning to end, never bits. I always do the whole show. If something goes wrong, I've learned. I used to be tutting and shifting around and being annoying actually, and people would actually had complaints sometimes. And somebody said, when they complained to me, and the interviewer said, "Do you know who he is?" And she said, "I don't care who he is. I don't care." And she was absolutely right. Yeah. She was absolutely right, and I apologised and got tickets for another night. So I've learned not to, but not because of that. I'm a bit calmer now, and I go like, Okay, we'll deal with that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think I'm a choreographer that directs, you know. I know some people would say otherwise. I think directing is part of a choreographer's job. And I don't get this whole thing with dramaturgs and everything. That whole thing that's my job. That's not somebody else's job. I either fail or succeed on my ideas and what I put into the pit. I shouldn't have someone explaining it to me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't agree with that at all.
Would you ever go on Strictly?
As what?
A dancer. A dancer.
They don't have dancers on there. The talk has often been about me being a judge, and because I was offered it the first series, very first series, I was asked to go up and sort of try out for it. It's a personality thing, and I'd be terrified ultimately with it.
Gene Kelly or Fred Astaire?
Fred Astaire. For me, Fred is the better choreographer. Gene was a pioneer in dance on film more, and bringing ballet into, you know, sort of widening the scope, and a lot of brilliant stuff. But Fred, for me, is the one who gets me excited still.
Brown sauce or ketchup?
Brown.
Broadway or West End?
West End.
EastEnders or Coronation Street?
EastEnders.
Oh, really?
I'm an EastEnder.
Well, I suppose to give you that one. Swan Lake or the Red Shoes?
Oh, that's hard. Well, I've got to say the Red Shoes at the moment.
Yorkshire pudding or Lancashire hot pot?
Yorkshire pudding.
Good lad. You are in Lancashire though, you know. Watch it. They'll be waiting for you outside. Well, it's been absolutely lovely speaking to you.
You too.
I really enjoyed it. I didn't sleep last night. I think you're absolutely amazing, and I want to come and see you when you're at Blackpool. So
I'll be here both nights. I'll be here. So.
Brilliant.